Hi there, this is the second theme in Kit 2 that we're going to explore here right away as the year starts. Today we're looking at grapheme alternatives. We have CH and K and TCH and CH. This is a fun theme that I think will activate a lot of your students' interest in inquiry, and I've provided some examples of how that might look. First of all, the big ideas of this kit are that in words with final K, the slash marks means that's the sound. In words with final K, there is a grapheme choice between CK and K. There are some examples there in green. And also, in words with final Ch, there is a grapheme choice between TCH and CH. That's what we're going to explore in this theme. The theme will explain that the two related patterns that determine whether a base has final CK or K and final TCH or CH. The patterns are related, and because of that relativity, kids will have an easier time remembering and determining how to do this. Also, CK and K are alternative graphemes for the phoneme K in final position, and TCH and CH are two graphemes which can both represent the phoneme ch in the final position. Before you get going and jump right into this theme, Melvin recommends that you do consider a few things about vowels. First of all, there are 4 types of vowels that you need to keep sort of in your head, and these are not the vowel letters alone. There's also vowel phones, vowel phonemes, and vowel graphemes. The first one, the vowel letters, in real spelling we represent using the vowel hand, which is A, E, I, O, U, and sometimes Y. Remember, touching your fingers and actually doing the hand motion of making the Y is good practice for kids to keep those in order, and the order is important. The second 2 listed there, vowel phones and vowel phonemes, there is an ebook on phonology and phonetics, A Crucial Difference, at page 4. It at some point may be worthwhile for you to examine this ebook, but do remember that as we're running and gunning through getting this up and running, this is a level of information that you may want to come back to and inform your own practice after you've had a chance to get going with the teaching. The final bullet there we have some experience with, and these are vowel graphemes. Vowel graphemes can be made up of a single letter grapheme, a digraph, or a trigraph that can represent a single vowel phoneme or sound. Think about the example IGH. There are 3 letters there, but they together are a vowel grapheme representing the single vowel sound, either I or A, depending on what's in front of them. Just a little bit to think about before you get started. The next thing you need to know about this theme is that we're working primarily with base words. We aren't adding prefixes and suffixes to words within the theme. Of course, you can extend that with your kids. We did a lot of work on that last year. They have some knowledge of prefixes and suffixes. In fact, the upper grades probably have already created a prefix and a suffix and base chart, and there's some prefixes and suffixes listed, so don't ignore that. It is a crucial component of what we're doing. It's just not introduced in this theme or the one previously. This theme does concern spelling shifts which happen in the final position within a base element. And last year we also introduced the idea of initial, medial, and final positions in words, and getting away from beginning and ending. This is just more precise, and it helps, especially the ending I see. If we talk about ending, then what happens when you add a suffix? It seems like it's the end and a suffix can't be added, when in actuality it's just the final part of a base word, so of course a suffix could be added. So throughout this theme, I have indicated some of the worksheets and visuals that Melvin provides. They're on the server, so you can download them from there and get them printed out. If you need help printing them in color or for your own charts, or you want some help enlarging them, just let me know and I can get that done in the office. So to go back, this theme is only working with changes in the final position. So if you think your kids need some review and a refresher on initial, medial, and final, this worksheet is a good one to start with. The other thing that we need to watch that we're not doing in our own work with kids, is talking too much about sound. The consonant cluster sound, ch, can be represented in 3 different ways. So we don't want to say that ch is as a sound is important. It's actually that sound being represented, and which representation is the one to use that this theme is concerned with. One thing that you could sort of explore with your kids if they're ready are the study tasks listed on page 7, the orthography of each and the orthography of catch. So moving forward and getting into the main theme, this is one way that you could introduce it. We are investigating 2 spelling patterns that are closely connected. The first pattern determines whether to write final CK in a base element or just K. The second pattern helps us know whether we write final TCH in a base element or just CH. So this sets up the inquiry piece, and I've noticed a few sort of grammatical or spelling errors or handwriting errors in my charts here. Please bear with me. One of the reasons why I want to go through these and not just give you the slides is so that I can read through it as well, for my own knowledge of how to teach these things as well as correct things as I go. So we're all learning. Getting into the theme, one way to do it would be to sort of ask kids, but how do you know? Let's inquire and test out which one to use and see if we can find a pattern on our own. So beginning with the final phoneme k in a base element, giving kids the handout there on the left, the first one, it gives them lots of words that take either a K or CK in the final position. These are words the students know really well, and so they'll do some testing out and see which one fits. And from that work, they might be able to determine a pattern that they want to hypothesize as being the way to tell the difference. The arrow in the middle tells you what it is. It depends on the letters that immediately precede it. So depending on what's directly in front of the final phoneme k will tell you whether you use a K or a CK. The flow chart on the right could also be the place that you start. You could give the kids the flow chart, not send them off on too much inquiry, but ask them to practice and then maybe even identify words that go that way. In the middle, I did a couple of examples for myself because the wording of this theme, it was very difficult for me. I could say it, but it was very difficult for me to see. So let me read the formal wording of the pattern at the bottom, and keep your eyes on the 2 words in the middle, pink and block, and you can see how that works. The formal wording of the pattern, and this is something that you sort of want to ingrain in your own vernacular so that you can help kids hear this as a formal statement of the way this works. So, a base element with the final letter K, and that contains only 1 vowel letter, must have another letter between that vowel letter and the final K. If there isn't one, then replace the final K with CK. And you can see that in action looking at the 2 words there, pink and block. After you've done some investigation on this and kids are feeling good and they understand the idea, you could move into digressing. Look at the little pink sticky at the bottom right there. You could look at medial CK, like the word bracket, and investigate how that works. Why is it CK and not just K? Of course, there are handwriting and keyboarding opportunities. Melvin has really opened our eyes to the fact that when we get certainly digraphs, but also letters that go together a lot, why not practice writing them together right from the get-go so that our hand feels that pattern? And the same thing would be true for the keyboarding, practicing going CK, 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 CK. Finally, if you want more on this, if this wasn't clear enough for you, or if you're just interested, there is a visual representation of this pattern, which I'm, to be honest, not sure what that is, on Disc 2, Theme B, page 8. So give that a look. Moving forward into the second half of this theme, and you can see how you could do the first part on one day, the second, and extend it a day or two, and then the second part. So really just sort of get a feel for your kids, think about the time that you have to make this rich. So moving into the second, selecting TCH or CH in the final position. Again, I've indicated how you could set this up as an inquiry by giving them the thinking sheet that asks them to apply CH or TCH at the back of a word and sort of identify why they think it is one over the other before you give them the answer. But of course, it is the same. Which of the two depends on the letters that immediately precede it. So there's something about that letter in front of it. Hopefully, if you've done the first one as an inquiry, this second one will come to them in the same way. The flow chart is there as well that can help kids trace their thinking as they work through building words. The formal wording of this pattern, and you can look at march and ditch if you need to on those little sticky notes. This is what I needed for my brain. But the final wording is a base element with the final string CH, and that contains only one vowel letter must have another letter between that vowel letter and the final CH. If there isn't one, then replace the final CH with TCH. Clear as mud until I actually wrote it out. So you might want to try that as well. There's a tutorial sequence that helps with this on page 9, and then again, handwriting and keyboarding opportunities. One sort of little quirk about this that some of our kids will just love is that there are some common words that do not conform. And you can see them on this pattern here, on this Venn flow chart. And we aren't told why. There may be more information on pages 10 to 12, but this would be some of your stronger word inquiry students. This would be something for them to investigate on their own, possibly for homework, for extra credit, just to come in and teach the class. But this flow chart would set them up to begin identifying maybe why this is what it is.